Okay, this is the Yamaha Rx 596 Yamaha stereo receiver. I bought this about 18 years ago. After having this maybe a couple of years, I'm not sure exact time frame, the selector knob started not working correctly with the remote. You know, I was able to do manually, and it always worked. But when I'd use the remote, it wouldn't work. It would oscillate between 2 points that you'd select. The display would flash, and I got this fixed now. I removed that selector switch, rebuilt it, because you can't find the part, and put it back together. So you can see now this works. And it works every time now, so not a problem. Okay. What I found as a problem with this selector knob has some grease in it, some white grease for the motor to turn. Some of that grease gets up on the contact switches. That's what causes this problem. And I had, anyhow, I had to clean that switch out really good, get all that grease out of there. And then once I did that, everything's worked fine. I don't think this will have a problem anymore, I hope. I think that will do it. So in this video, I'm going to go in reverse order. I'm going to start with a switch removed from the unit and rebuild that, and then go backwards and reinstalling the switch on the circuit board, put the circuit board back in. Okay, so okay, here's the final. This is fully reassembled, this function switch now. Okay, so you kind of get an idea what it looks like when it's all put back together. Okay, working in reverse order here of this function switch. Here is the removed function switch. This goes on this circuit board here, okay? Hope the lighting is better here. And it goes on here like this, okay? Goes in like that, and solder to the bottom on those pins, okay? That's been pulled out the board, and then this off the board. This is partly disabled. You can see I got one of the, hopefully that shows up, one of the selector switches is pulled out, and I pulled it in half. There are two pieces to it. You got this, it has two little wipers on it, and then here are all the contacts it makes. So as this spins, it will make certain continuity between these pins. So actually the continuity is between one of the end pins and then whatever other pin, depending upon where it's at. Here is the, I already pulled the shaft out of this. This is the front. This is where your selector knob is, okay? Normally, this I pulled out of here, okay? This goes up through those holes, the shaft. The very tip goes at the end there, right here. Okay, so I pulled that out. Very important to watch the configuration of these rotary switches. You got one here, I got this one pulled out. It goes in the middle, and you got a couple more here. When you put this shaft back in, those things have to be in a certain orientation to make sure the right pins make contact as you select your source. So be very careful, they go in the same way. You can see I actually got a I put a mark, you can see it, I put a little mark on it to be straight up, and I'm going to be marking all of these. Okay, anyway, so I'll be cleaning this with some contact cleaner and Q-tips really good, and then I'm going to follow it by this lubricant cleaner, Deoxit Gold. Kind of expensive stuff, it's supposed to be good. Okay, a little bit of a revelatory thing happened here. As I pulled the last two rotary switches out on the end here that are closest to this gear, look again what's on this. Hopefully this picks it up. It's hopefully that gets it. Look how milky that substance is on those contacts. I've already pulled the plate off of it. You know what that is? That's a white grease that was on this gear that's getting on those plates. And both of these end plates that were mounted right on the end here have it on them. These other two plates, when I pulled those apart because they're far enough away, they didn't have that milky substance. That is the grease from that gear getting on these. I think that is the problem with this whole thing. I don't think there's anything else wrong with it. That I completely am going to clean every piece of grease off of that. There's still a little bit on that little gear. I'm going to get all of that off. I have a feeling once that's done, this will never have a problem again, this piece. That's my guess. I think that's what causes the whole problem. Okay, I got all this grease. Again, I hope this video gets it cleaned out of that mess there, which is causing this problem undoubtedly. Now, before I put this shaft back in, this one last one I haven't got in yet, I just got to snap it down in. Notice I marked on top. See those black marks? Right, the other two in the back there have them on. I don't know if that picks them up. Maybe if I pick this out of the way, you can see that better. And you can see there's a little arrow right there. There's two of them. That's the one. You want to get that arrow where it is, and all these have to be the same. Okay, include this last one as well. All of these, you got to line them up the same before you put the shaft in. Now I did it that way with this shaft turned fully counterclockwise. Okay, I'm trying to do this one-handed here, but you get the idea. Go completely counterclockwise. You got to make sure the orientation of that is right. Play around with that. Be real careful how you do this. This is critical because this thing will get back here. This thing won't work right if you don't get that right. We'll do a continuity test when I'm done. Okay, I've got this switch put back together, the function switch, the receiver. When you're done, a way to verify that everything got put back correctly, you can put an ohm meter test. You can see I'm on the very first pin. I'm counting there's 12 pins here, 2 rows of 6. I'm just going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, counting from left to right, 1 through 12. So if you go from pin 1, now I'm all the way in the counterclockwise position, and it should go 1 and 4. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, and I don't know if you can see my ohm meter there, but that's making on pin 4. And that's all. It won't make on any of the other ones. When I increment clockwise 1, instead of going on 4, now it goes on 5. Okay, I'm watching my ohm meter here. I don't know if the meter's in it or the camera gets it or not. And you do that, that'll be pin 5, 6, 7, 8, and then finally 9. And there it is on 9. So it's just that one pin, and it only connects on 1 each time. Now if you move over to the next set of pins, you can go on here. Same thing, identical. Start fully counterclockwise. Pin 4, counting 1, 2, 3, 4, just from left to right. I'm staggering. I'm going like this, like a triangle, the way I'm doing it. Same exact thing, no different. And then finally, the last one's a little different here. If you notice this very last one here's only got 2 pins on it. The other pins are cut. Not even certain exactly what that one's doing. But let's go from pin 1 again of this wheel in front of it. And that one, because there's 3 wipers on the plate, it's going to, on fully counterclockwise, it's going to go from, let's see, I wrote it down here. It goes 1 and 3 and 4. Okay, if I go to the next position, it'll go 1, 4 and 5, 1, 5 and 6, 1, 6 and 7, 1, 7 and 8, 1, 8 and 9. That's it. Okay, now, incidentally, I did want to mention too, this back panel here. I had to take a lot of these screws off, see, so I can kind of bend this out. You have to be able to do that. I didn't take any of these off, but all these screws that hold this to circuit boards and things, I pulled those out so you got some bendability here, and then you can get that board in there. Okay, I got this board back in that has the selector switch on it. You can see the selector down right here. This board that it's on and this one are all one. They're together. To get this back in, you really got to hassle this circuit board over this heatsink. It's kind of a tight squeeze, but you just have to mess with it till it fits. 4 cables have to come off that are connected to this board to the outside world. This one here, just pick up on each end. There's a little tab on each end, and then pull. This one just goes in. There's no mechanism to hold it on, or you don't have to latch or unlatch. This one here going to the volume. Get this camera back where you can see it right. That comes out, same thing. You pull both ends up on the connector and then just slip it out. And then if you can see that ribbon cable down there, that just pulls out. There's no locking mechanism. Just pull it out, and when you're putting the board back in, just push it back in. So those 4 cables come out. Alright, these screws here, these 4 screws have to come out. I've already pulled the plate off, okay? Screws hold that on. You'll figure that out. 4 screws here. These are machine screws, got to come out. This little push tab's got to come out. This screw here, which holds that potentiometer, or select. That's a select. Yeah, potentiometer. No, that's a selector. Sorry, and this is the other selector, and then pull that screw out. Here is the Yamaha Rx 596 after the rebuild of the function selector switch. You notice there's no flashing display. And I've got the remote here. I'm going to go ahead and switch it with the remote. You can go to CD, tuner, tape, VCR, LD, laser disc. Isn't that funny? And you can go through these perfect. And it works every time now. That repair or that rebuilding of that selector switch is what cures this problem. Okay, there you go.